Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, or the true leaders of Israel today. And salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalio, and this video is about the wicked elite of Esau Edom, and that, when it is that Yahushua returns and the missiles are on their way to America to destroy it, the elite, they will be in hiding. They're going to be hiding, and they most likely won't even be in America, right? They're going to be in their secret underground bunkers and in locations where they would be safe from the nuclear destruction and stuff like that. And then you have others, that are among the elite that will just be in various places that will be in hiding, okay? And here it is, Catherine Fitz talking about secret underground bases on this Tucker Carlson platform, which, honestly, I'm a little skeptical. Now, the history of me knowing about this Catherine Fitz person is that, and her name is Catherine Austin Fitz. She became prominent, at least to my knowledge, during the 2020 worldwide situation. I believe it was the same exact year in 2020 when she did an interview with some random person. She did an interview talking about the goal of the wicked elite. And when I say the wicked elite, the Edomites are the ones that are in rulership, and the Edomites are these so-called white people. So it's the wicked elite of Esau Edom. It's the ruling class of the Edomites, right? And she exposed their entire plan, what they're doing, why the situation was happening in 2020, right? And she exposed the entire transition that they're making towards a completely digital system. And she described the different areas as well that they're changing, and how everything needs to change. These different areas need to change to come together to bring about their NWO, right? And she explained it very perfectly. And what she said was that it's all heading towards, really, when you look at listen to what she said and read between the lines, it's leading towards the microchip, which is a mark of the beast, right? They're putting in this entire digital infrastructure to bring about that. And you can see here central bank digital currency, which, the entire system is going digital and everything. So regarding that entire situation, she really revealed a lot of information where when that interview went up and it started to gain traction, it was taken off of the YouTube. Esau took it off of the YouTube. And then every single time somebody would upload it back to the YouTube, Esau would take it off, which goes to show you that the information that she put out there was correct. Firstly, by measuring through the scriptures, right? Because we know that the mark of the beast is the microchip, and we know that a system has to be implemented to allow that. So she also mentioned during it that the purpose of the situation that was going on, and this is because I've said it before, that when I mentioned pestilence or plague, disease, I mentioned the invisible enemy, and it is her that I got it from, because she said that it's like the invisible enemy, a pandemic of sorts, or a disease or a plague or something, because that invisible enemy can cause a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos, right? It can basically change rules, which, we saw. It can change the lifestyle of the people. It can destroy the economy. It can affect the supply chains, right? It can do all sorts of different types of things. And you can't blame anybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't pinpoint it on anybody, because it's like it's a disease that's ravaging the world, so to speak. And now the world has to try and contain it, but you can't blame anybody for these things that are happening to you. For example, the lifestyle changes, the changes in the current system, and all these kinds of things. All right, to be able to fight it. So she said it was the invisible enemy, and it's like the perfect enemy to you know, to be out there for chaos and change to happen. You know, if I'm really remembering what she said, um, you know, in the video, but that's what she really said. And then, of course, experiencing it, right, I can speak to it as well that yes, Esau Edom has certain tools that they've been given, right? And they have certain knowledge and certain technology. So, you know, they're able to construct certain things, right? So and use those things to their advantage. So, having experienced what happened during the 2020 situation and knowing, you know, what it is about it, you get what I'm saying? That it really is as how she even said it back in 2020 and after that interview and observing it after that, where it really can cause irreparable economic damage, affect supply chain to the point where it is still to this point in a certain situation. It can change the lifestyle of the individuals and it can speed run the change to a new system, a new financial system, which is going to be which was a digital payment system. But I say all of that because, you know, just to give an intro of the lady, and why it is that I'm even using this video to bring about information, because it's like, why should she be trusted? You know what I'm saying? And I don't trust her because, you know, here it is that she's on this platform, and I'm sure this Tucker Carlson person is a part of the whole celebrity thing, and he himself most likely is a part of what she's about to talk about, okay? Because all of the celebrities and the movie stars and all these kinds of things, you know, they participate on these things, man, with these things, and it has come out. There was a girl who this black girl, so-called black girl, I forget her name, but she came out and she was, you know, a slave, a part of it, and she came out and she blew the whistle on it, and everything that they said, they tried to make her out to be crazy, they tried to make her out to be all these things, but she provided proof, right? And she was a random girl among the celebrities, and even then there was even on the red carpet her among the celebrities, just a random girl on the red carpet with them, right? And the picture was taken. I forget which celebrity it was that she was there with, right? But she spoke about these underground bases, right? These secret underground bases that are all around America, right? These underground cities. It's unbelievable to you. It's really not. Okay? It's really not, right? And then I'm sure if it's in America, it's in all other places around the world as well. Okay? So she's going to be talking about it. And I know that intro was a little long, but, you know, just for the sake of anything, um, the sake of clarity, I meant. Okay? But part of the reason why as well is because, you know, she said some things regarding the system at hand, and when you measure it through what we know through the scriptures that is to come, yeah, it makes sense. But anyway, let's take a listen to this secret underground bases situation.
We have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So
You heard him? I'm sorry. As if, you know, these people are really good actors. You know what I'm saying? These people that are part of it, the celebrities, the movie stars, the musicians, all of those people, they're very excellent actors, right? Just like that whole Katy Perry thing with the whole talking about going up into space when we all know that you can't. You can't pass the firmament, all these kinds of things. You just can't. All right. So it's a whole bunch of deception. But remember, the scriptures say that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right. So the wicked are in rulership, and the wicked, one of their primary tools of their rulership is deception. They deceive the world. So this individual, the reaction from Tucker Carlson to me he's like, oh, but guess what? He knows about it. Okay? As I said before, he most likely participates in it, more than likely. Okay? And mentioning that girl before, and to be honest, even if I remembered her name, I wouldn't even say her name, because you know how things are. But she mentioned that there's a whole, like, in LA, there's a whole underground city, and there's a whole underground city with a whole bunch of transportation that's down there, by boat, by bus, by car, by whatever. And she said the stench down there is like a stench that it's you have to smell it to believe it. The stench down there, and plus she mentioned some other things that go on down there as well. All right, a whole bunch of stuff that happens on the left hand side, but that's not the purposes of this video. Let's continue.
We have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more. So,
in the United States?
In the United States, all over the world. But from 2021 to 2023, I took one of the smartest subscribers in the Solaire Report network. And
the Caribbean Maritime University is the maritime sector's hub for cultivating leaders.
And he and I spent 2 years collecting all the data and all the allegations on underground bases. And then we systematically went through and tried to estimate our guess. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170, with a transportation network connecting them.
And what would be the purpose?
You heard what she said? Under the ocean. Very interesting. Because the reason why I'm bringing this out is because the scriptures talk about this. Okay, let's get some scriptures. I wonder which one should get it from first. Let's see. Let's start at Amos chapter 9 and verse 1. I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Right, so the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, they're going to be hiding in their underground bunkers, all of these things that they've built to be able to survive the thermonuclear destruction, right? Of course, if you're in America, you're going to be completely destroyed. So they know, they listen to these videos, so they know they're going to be somewhere else, okay? Though they dig into hell, right? They dig into hell, which goes to show you, you know, the whole idea of hell being a place that you burn acts for all eternity and all these things. That's a false doctrine that goes back to Hades, that goes back to Roman gods and Greek gods and all that foolishness, and perhaps also doctrines of going even further back. It's all false doctrine. All right, there's no place that people go to forever that they burn in hell, right? And this shows it. Though they dig in hell, because when you look at the word hell here at H7585, it says Shawal, which says the grave, right? Or the pit. So that's talking about the ground, right? The grave, the ground, okay? Then shall mine hand take them, though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. All right, so no matter where it is that the wicked elite of Esau, Edom go, and all those that are a part of that entire group, okay, because it's not a whole lot of them, but there are many of them, you know what I'm saying? And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence, and though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. You see? So when she mentioned that they even have underground, sea bases. The scriptures say it, man, that and though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent and he shall bite them. Which it's saying that there's no way that they will be able to escape from Yahweh Shemishai. No matter how much they hide or they think that they're hidden, they can't escape the judgment of the Lord. Which, what is the judgment of the Lord? When it is that Yahushua returns and America is destroyed by thermonuclear fire, the heathen are going straight up into slavery. So we're gonna be gathering them up, you know what I'm saying? Gathering them up and putting them in slavery. Okay? And so we're going to find them in hiding, wherever they're hiding around the world. Okay? So let's listen to some more.
The purpose, if you thought you were going to get a near extinction event, so there, to me, there are two purposes. You have so many activities going on that you need to keep secret, that you're basically building the capacity to, for example, if you're doing a secret space program, you need to platform it from, things that can't be seen. But I think if you're worried about a near extinction event, that's...
So I know nothing about this other than my only window into it. I knew a contractor who worked on one in Washington, in the city of Washington, D.C.
Right.
And I remember him telling me about a power box, like a transformer box on Constitution Avenue, that he told me, because he worked on it personally, was actually the exit, the egress from the White House. That was kind of by vehicle. I thought that was, and I was like, really? He goes, oh, yeah, no, I installed it, I know. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy that in the middle of this big city where I lived I was on Constitution Avenue every day, that you could build something like that without me knowing it. Under the VP's house at the Naval Observatory, same thing. I think most people know that. Next to my brother's house on Macomb Street in D.C. But that's, I always thought that was like preparation for nuclear war. Like, I didn't really think about it that much.
Some of it is, yeah. It's preparation for catastrophe.
So, but you think that there are facilities like that in other places outside D.C.?
Oh, yeah. So if you're interested, we have a great interview. I did an interview of Richard Dolan on underground bases on the Solari Report, and it's sort of an introduction to the topic, and it's based on a lot of the research of a guy named Richard Sauter, who is very hard to interview. So Richard kind of went through all the material. And clearly it's... I don't know if you ever saw, Washington Post did a project, it was in 2010 or 12, called Top Secret America. And one of the reporters, it was a team of 2 reporters, one of them put together a database of all the different top secret installations that had been built in the country, including since the Patriot Act. And what you saw was just this explosion of money in building so many both underground and above ground facilities.
Not all sleep aids are made by
All right. It looks like it went to
federal official.
It went to commercial. So okay, it looks like that's that portion of it, and it's a quite extensive.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's a quite extensive interview. She talks about a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm surprised she's still here. I'm truly surprised she's still here, because she's just been like a whistleblower, which then makes me very skeptical about her and her position, right? Given all of the information she's just spilling out there, exposing them. Why are they allowing this to happen? You get what I'm saying? Because Esau will move swiftly on individuals who drop information, but perhaps they don't care anymore. Who knows? However the wicked operate, that's how they operate. But the point is, they're gonna receive their judgment. All right, there's no escaping from Yahweh Shemishai. There's just no way. All right, and so I'm gonna get another one in Revelation chapter 16. Not 16, but verse Revelation 6 and verse 16. Okay, so it's talking about the judgment that's happening, right? Revelation 6 and verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black, as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And those stars are talking about the ICBM missiles. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And that's the impact of the missiles, right? We all know the mushroom cloud kind of situation, okay? And how that happens. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, right? So they're going to be hiding in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, okay, on that day, right? All of those people that are of the wicked elite and those close to them in some kind of order and ranking, perhaps even, you know, presidents, prime ministers, such like that, the royals and all those individuals of the different countries and of the heathen, you know what I'm saying, countries and of the heathen, they're going to be among them, right? Because it says the rich men and the chief captains and the billionaires and all those individuals are going to be in these safe zones, quote unquote, hidden in these underground bunkers and stuff like that in various parts around the world. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So they'll be in hiding, man, fearing Yahweh Shemishai, but there's no escape. Yahushua is not coming as a man. Yahushua is coming in his true and pure form, right? With all of the spiritual power that he has. You know what I'm saying? So there's no escaping from Yahushua. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand it? None. That's the answer, none. Okay? Isaiah 2 and verse 19, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. And that day is a day of judgment, man. Okay? In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, because riches profit not in the day of wrath, right? And all these carnal things and whatever don't matter, man. Okay, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks for fear of the Lord Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth. That's the earth is going to be shaken. Why? Because of the thermonuclear destruction, the ICBM missiles. The scriptures say that the earth is going to shake like a drunkard, right? And it truly is the impact of those missiles, man, hitting all across America. 200,000, which is 200 million missiles hitting America. Okay? And then when that entire event happens, which will also be the salvation of the Israelites, specifically the elect of the nation of Israel, right? The heathen are going to be gathered up, man, starting with the Edomites. And then y'all are going to be thrown into the pit. Okay? Here it is, Isaiah 24. And as I mentioned, it shall be, here it is, just verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high. And who are those? Those that are in rulership right now. The Edomites and the kings of the earth upon the earth, right? And the other heathen, whichever one is at the top of each of the heathen. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited, right? So all the heathen are going to be gathered together, and they're going to be thrown into the pit by the Israelites, right? And then when it is that they're needed for their servitude, we're going to gather them up and say, yo, come. Y'all got to do this and that, and that, and that, and that, and that for 1,000 years. And then after the 1,000 years, the nation of Edom will be no more, but the rest of the heathen will, they won't be in slavery anymore. They will still have to, follow the laws and commandments of Yahweh Shemishai, you know what I'm saying? And live that type of way, but they won't be slaves anymore after the 1,000 years. Not like how we'll have them in the 1,000 years. You get what I'm saying? So, with that, all praises. Glory and honor to Yahweh Shemishai B'Shem Kodesh. Shalom.